They're really about to be in their feelings now, as Deion Sanders is one of the highest paid coaches in all of college football. We got to talk about what had just happened, how his salary doubled, and why he's worth every single penny. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. So if that's something that you are into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave me a comment down below. Do you think Deion Sanders making more than $10 million annually over the next 5 years is good value for Colorado? Now, let's be very clear here. He had been in conversations for a contract extension for some time, and he wanted to make sure that all of his assistants got taken care of before they got to him. Not a week ago, or just over a week ago, I should say, he came up with this idea of wanting to play a spring football game against another team. What made this unique is Fran Brown took him up on that opportunity. So now we are a waiver request away from the NCAA saying, hey, go do this, to Syracuse, Colorado, playing a spring game against each other, inter-squad, live practice. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's also a way in which you can get more people into Folsom Field, get more people to pay attention to Colorado football, which is what Deion Sanders has excelled at better than anybody else in history. You watch Colorado because of Deion Sanders. There's not another coach in all of college football who can make that claim. You are watching for the guy on the sideline. We don't do it that way. We usually exalt players. The only guy that gets exalted above players are those that win championships multiple times. And even then, we're not necessarily watching Nick Saban on the sideline because we want to see what Nick Saban's going to do. We're watching for the next butt chewing he's about to give an assistant or a player for making the wrong play because he was a taskmaster of the highest order. Deion is a much different kind of coach, a modern CEO of a coach, and his contract and extension reflects that. He goes from making about $5.7 million a year to an extension that sees him through 2029, making $10 million in 2025, $10 million in 2026, $11 million in 2027, $11 million in 2028, and $12 million in 2029. That is just below $11 million a year. It's going to make buku money. So already we need to talk about why people are going to come in here and tell us Deion Sanders is now the most overpaid college football coach in America. And I can't wait to see what it is that they try to say, because I don't see how you can get there. Yeah, you're in your feelings. You're mad. He's going to make $10.8 million annually. How much more money is that than your head coach is probably going to be the first thing that we need to talk about. And who is your head coach? If we're talking about Lincoln Riley, well, let's have that conversation. What has Lincoln Riley done that Deion Sanders hasn't since getting to USC? That's one question I think that we could ask. Another one is, who else do you think is doing a better job of taking care of their staff, of taking care of their players, of really getting in the value that you would expect for a man that commands the kind of attention that only he can? I put it this way many times, but I'm going to do it again. The man was on a talk show tour last year, and by talk show, I mean late night talk show tour, promoting a book in March. I submit to you, there is not another head coach in college football that could succeed in that. You're not going to appear on Jimmy Fallon or Seth Meyers or Jimmy Kimmel to promote your book in March when there's no football going on. And his book is not really about football. This one isn't. It's about how he would like you to know he goes through life and how he trains his players and his family to go through life. He had some lessons that he wanted to give to us. We also have a coach that in one fell swoop turned Colorado into something relevant. Okay? Colorado did not have an identity before Deion Sanders got to it. Not really. It had a Heisman winner, Rashaan Salam. It had Slash, Cordell Stewart. It had a backdoor into a Big 12 championship game in 2005 because Iowa State couldn't do what Iowa State was supposed to do. Colorado gets in there, and they're the sacrificial lamb for Texas. What I find is really going to get under people's skin is when I start going through the list of the highest paid FBS coaches, basically going back to October 2024, and USA Today does a great job of tracking these things. So number one, you got Kirby Smart, $13.2 million, $13.3 million, 282. And number two, you got Dabo Swinney, $11.1 million. $10 million, 10.6-ish, probably going to go up a little bit for Steve Sarkisian. $10 million for Lincoln Riley, $10 million for Ryan Day, that's gone to $12.5 million. $12.5 million being behind Kirby Smart, right? So he's the number 2. Mike Norvell, $10 million. Kalen DeBoer, $10 million. Then you get to Brian Kelly, 9.9. Prime's going to make 10.8, which already makes him the 3rd highest paid coach in college football behind, 4th highest paid coach in college football behind Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, Dabo Swinney, and Steve. Hold on. Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, Dabo Swinney. He's the 4th highest paid. Dog. Won 9 games last year. Had a Heisman winner. We'll probably have 2 first-round draft picks. But every time the man does a press conference, it does numbers. And every time someone talks about Deion Sanders, you can bet you're behind. Someone's going to show up to say, ain't this man the truth? And someone's going to show up to say, no, he is not. And that's what makes for good content. And when we do these segments, one of the things that I'm always cognizant of is who is listening to this, who wants to hear what it is that we're talking about when it comes to things like Deion Sanders. And because there's new ways of thinking and the game of college football is continuing to change and he is staying relevant in it, you will have so much to learn that you can pull from, right? One of these things is spring game. There have been lots of conversation about he's not the first person to have this idea. Sure, he's the first person to probably get this executed. That's true. And that's where I choose to throw down the marker. I don't like ideas. I don't like getting ideas. I don't like hearing your ideas. I hear what you are pitching, but what I want to know is how do you plan to execute your idea? It's one thing to say you've got an idea. We've all got ideas. That's why I don't really pay them that much mind. How much goes into executing that idea? What can you get done? Or what are you willing to give up to go get that thing done? As an example here, I write. I've written 2 books. I write quite a bit at foxsports.com, right? I'm the most read writer at Fox. My top 25 each and every week does numbers because y'all want to hear it. When I choose to pick a subject or pick a topic, and the way in which I choose to pick those leads and do those things is more about how can I make this a sharp edge? How can I give you all the killer that I can possibly put into a feature or a column so that you can get not just from the start but to the end, right? Anecdote and detail. Give me facts. Don't give me feelings. Give me numbers to support your feelings. This is what I like from an idea. So when you were telling me Deion Sanders is not the first person to have a spring game idea, I'm going, yeah, sure. A lot of people have had that idea. I'm sure it's popped up when you were on a rooftop or having a beer in the back of the truck and it's April and you're at this game. It's a glorified practice. It's going to be nice if we get to play somebody else. Sure. But can you execute it? Did you have the leverage to get this done? Did you have the sway and the power to get this done? No? Then what are we talking about? We're talking about you getting as close to putting on a spring game against another team as you are to being on Mount Olympus challenging Zeus for the throne. It's just not a thing you get to do. It is a thing that Deion Sanders got to do, and he is flexing in that way, and it's making people uncomfortable. That's what it is, right? I love that. I'm going to do it this way because I can. Reggie Jackson, another great black man, great black baseball player, Mr. October, had one of the best sayings I've ever heard about bragging, ever, and I live by it. It ain't bragging if you can do it. That's it. It ain't bragging if you can do it. It's just a fact. It's a fact. It's not bragging to say you run 4.4 if you can run 4.4. It's a fact. It's without debate. That's what a fact is. We don't debate facts, right? Well, I got these new facts. I got these big facts. I got these other facts. No, dog. Either the earth spins round or it doesn't. Fact. Black, white, then move to gray. Okay? Black, white. Didn't tell me about mulatto, right? Didn't tell me about high yellow. Didn't tell me about light-skinned, okay? First, we going to start with what it is. Tell me what's on the driver's license, fam. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what it is that you can and cannot get done. And Prime is moving like a man who can only get these things done, and they're paying him like a man who can only get these things done. That, I think, is the most remarkable part about this. That Colorado has not got in its own way. That Rick George has been every step of the way laying it out, going move. Get your hands off my mans. He says he wants to do a spring game. We're doing a spring game. Okay? Well-off media going to be in here. Okay? He's done a remarkable job of protecting the most important asset he has in his athletic department, most important asset they got at the University of Colorado, most important asset they got in Boulder, one of the most important assets they got in Colorado State. meaning, Jokic is up there somewhere along with whatever Peyton Manning wants to do or doesn't do. And depending on who the head coach is, the Denver Broncos at the time, maybe. Quarterback, maybe. But this is something that I think was always going to happen. I think the number's still shocking. And when I said, is he worth this about a month ago? Yes. And people shouted me down on the $10 million, getting 10.8. And to get ahead of that part, you're not worth what you think you're worth. You're worth what somebody's willing to pay you. How you convince them to get to that number, that's entirely up to you. He has convinced them. $10.8 million. Kirby Smart, national championship. Dabo Swinney, national championships. Multiple national championships. Ryan Day, a national championship. And then there's Prime. Eat your heart out.